So, the powers want y'all to know when you're picking a path, there's plenty of directions, right? When we consider the Sephiroth, we consider the emanations we have access to of the gods, right? The powers that rule right now. And their aspect on us, the interaction with the world's aspects, and how we can access more energies, right? Or get into certain energies to get access to more information from the celestial realm or the earthly realm, right? Our access is this temple here at the body, right? So this kingdom, right, has all the ingredients of the aspects, right? And people work with certain energies, right? That's why we get coagulations of certain kinds of power and such. The explanations for them. Because what we know is there was a period of time where the world, all the ever-present existence, was looked through the lens of one language. And if that's possible, we can see that we were not all the same culture. That being said, we're all the same people. There's not really any major divisions. There are people that are more astrologically pure concerning their position in their ability to move up from where they're at in the existence. Much like the Egyptians thought there were many tiers to the existence, that were all the same thing, that based on our individual inputs and actions in the existence moving forward, we can develop a better afterlife. An afterlife is a life just like this life. You're not a ghost running around. You're a human in a body doing the same thing. But I've changed. It's almost a caste system. You get born into it and got to kind of live it out. You can make some moves, right? But it requires certain kinds of mental applications, spiritual applications, certain works, but people don't do it, right? Because it's kind of, people go crazy in the process of it, right? It's not an easy process. If you don't know the only place to go is the sun, the moon, and the earth, and occasionally look at the pillars for information, then you're going to be out of there. You know, really, you want to go to Hakama, Da'ath, and Hakama, and Kether. But the reality is in order to get understanding, you're going to have to go back and forth between the pillars a little bit. So, we know the left pillar is pretty much what we're looking at these days. It has the dominance. It has what the most content for what we call the entertainment, the authoritative industries, right? The governmental industries, the defense industries. It's running mostly on Saturn, right? We believe that we're going to move away from that toward the middle. Because I thought we needed to move to the right, but really we need to be in the middle. To get all the things that are manipulable in the free-form matter state, called this mind-matter experience phenomenon we have, you can get more of a fantastic experience, like AKA the hope of your dreams, in this experience by enacting certain mental and spiritual actions, right? There's a path, right? The great work, right? It's similar to that. It's like that, right? There is judgment here, right? You move on to a life where you either sit in the box with Kaiwan in Saturn, like a hard drive, and you get all the fucked up stuff you would never want that you gave to other people, and you're going to be there for a long time. Or you figure out how to get it right here. Females, if you had that problem, you have to make children. If you took people out for witchcraft, you have to bring people in and it doesn't absolve you of it. Because I learned actual at the highest levels is they're taking lives, humans. On the right side, they take animals, right? And stuff like that. And in the middle, you eat food, right? You have a feast. You honor the powers. You still honor the same powers at one of those weird things, but you don't do them, right? You do the socially conscious things that we eat for benefit. We eat because the sun allows us to have access to stuff, and the moon allows us to have access to stuff, right? We still get aspect from both of the pillars. They are the gods, right? We're supposed to consider them. But let's put it like this. The left doesn't have to tell you the truth or do something good to you. The right doesn't have to tell you the truth or do something good to you. The middle doesn't have to tell you the truth per se, but does stuff good for you, right? The tide, the earth, the moon, right? The sun, the moon with the tide, all that stuff. There's lots of stuff those things bring, right? The seasons. We get benefit from that whether we honor them or not, right? But we should honor them, right? Which is what the whole concept. And I absolutely believe the biblical concept, the 12 tribes is just the zodiac, the star families we all come out of, right? And then the Alahayim, right, according to the scriptures, are all the planets. Because we believe the planets created this place. We believe that Saturn and Jupiter were the initiators. I mean, all the planets built the sun, is what we believe. Through esoteric knowledge, we believe the sun is the child of all of the planets. Somehow, the planetoids, all the gods, the Alahayim, right, those spherical emanations out there that are intelligent, pulled something in during a period of time and brought the ingredients in to start the plasma up on the thing we call the sun. And it was their greatest invention, right? Because it allowed stuff here to be alive, to create a waveform, to create matter that's conscious living in an envelope, because they knew they needed an envelope for a certain kind of existence that we have right here, right? And we're in that envelope. This is the best place. They reseed this place over and over. The megalithic stuff, there's zero, many zero. There might even be many zeros in between some of these places. We don't have indications in the recent history that, oh, we were going and those were places were functioning. It's like, no, those were ruins way back then. You know? So, global travel was possible. It's always been possible. The discovery concept is we erased history so that we could rewrite history, but it's already been found before, right? It wasn't just heavily populated enough to populate in the capacity that we have today, right? If you look at the ancient woodcuts and ancient books, I mean, you can look on YouTube, they have globes. There's a reason for a globe. I can't subscribe to Flat Earth because they believe this the stellar setup is a dome vault, right? And they were able to track the entirety of it on a dome, a silver dome they polished, right? If they ever did it on flat, the images would be distorted compared to what they were in the sky, because they could look at a flat image versus the sky, and they're like, well, those images are distorted down there. What do we do? And they started arching the mirrors, right? They eventually came to a domed shape and were able to fit most of the stars in the sky that was visible, right? And they were like, God, that's got to be the gods have to have it round. We've got to look at everything out there and just round, right? They used to use the cones, right? They'd use a cone, and it would it's an optical illusion that makes something sharper. You can even reframe something up with your hands in the sky. Sometimes it'll make it sharper, right? Because it focused your eye. They knew they were circular things. They knew spherical things, right? The moon was spherical. They can tell because the shadowing, they're like, oh, it's a sphere. Obviously, it's round. Because we can take something here and make that same optical illusion, right? This thing we have is super special. There's not star systems that have a bunch of planets everywhere, right? These planets were intelligent and pulled the ingredients together to make a star, right? A sun, right? It's their child. It's their favorite entity. It's the entity that gives all the light and life here, right? It allows that mind matter waveform to propagate the ghost into a container. And because of that co-waveform, for all the planets agreeing, we get a body, a container, an opportunity, and all that great stuff, right? To live out an experience, right? So, in essence, the planets want us to know that we have a path, right? We have a path we can take. We have a benefit through them. Yes, you can have ceremonies and stuff and do the ancient rituals that have a lot of benefit from them. This stuff exists, right? Some kind of psychosomatic, psychosocial waveform happens even with many people. So the Greeks were doing it forever. If there was nothing in it, guys, why would they do it? They threw money on it. They put buildings on it. I had to think about it. Just some thoughts, guys. All right, later, beloved.